Chantal, welcome to All About Property.
Thank you very much.
Let's get straight into it. I'd like to know what's some of the main reasons why people don't get bonds?
You know, a third of all home loan applications are declined because of a poor credit score. So know your credit score. Fix anything that can be fixed before you apply for a bond. Any old inaccurate information, have it removed. Any arrear accounts that you might not have been aware of, get it up to date.
Let's say you do have faulted on a retail account. How long would it take for you to up that credit score again?
6 months to a year would be safe.
Now, a lot of people, when they apply for a bond, go directly to their own bank. That's not necessarily the best option.
No, the client, if he applies through more than one bank, he has a so much higher conversion rate. That is the percentage chance of submission to approval. Currently, 36% of bonds that are declined by one bank is approved by another bank if you go through a bond originator.
What is your role as a bond originator?
We assist the client through the whole home loan application process. We make sure he's aware of the different products from the various banks. We work through up to 8 banks, and we can submit simultaneously, which obviously improves the approval ratios. There's no charge for our service. It's a free service to the client. We can give them expert advice on all the bank's offerings so that they can make an informed decision.
You say up to 8 banks.
Yes.
I didn't even know there are that many banks in South Africa.
Yes. It's private banks as well.
Okay.
So not just the commercial banks.
It's advisable to get a pre-approval certificate before you go house hunting. What is a pre-approval certificate?
That certificate tells you exactly what type of bond you can afford. You still got to get a final approval through the banks. It's still got to go to credit, and your scoring has to be done through the banks, but it gives you a very good indication.
So you get a pre-approval certificate, you go out house hunting, and you know exactly 800,000 Rand or R1 million, whatever the case may be, is what I can afford.
Yes.
So I won't even look at homes over what that amount is.
Exactly.
What could put your bond approval at jeopardy from where you get the pre-approval certificate up to where you hand in your final application?
The client could incur additional debt. If the client then we apply for the bond, the banks are going to do a credit bureau check again, look at their credit profile. Any additional debt will show up on there, and that could afford their affordability.
So I'll get my pre-approval certificate, let's say for R1 million.
Yes.
After that, before I buy that home, I shouldn't go buy a car and a TV.
No.
I must also not try to fault on anything.
Exactly.
So I need to keep squeaky clean, because then that pre-approval certificate will work best.
That will work best then if no additional debt, any type of debt has been incurred.
For a person who earns a salary, what documentation would he or she need in place?
We'll need the latest 3 months pay slips. Salaried individuals.
Mm-hmm.
If they work on a commission basis or overtime, then latest 6 months, latest 3 months bank statements, a detailed income and expenses to be able to determine what surplus you have available, because the banks look at, we look at your income, that your bond payment can't exceed 30% of your gross income.
Okay.
But then they also look at the surplus left after all your expenses must be enough to cover that new bond payment.
Now, Chantal, you also have an online offering called My Bond Fitness.
That's right, yes.
What is that all about?
That is an online pre-approval process. It's totally paperless. The client can have an answer within 10 minutes. It does a credit bureau check, and it integrates with your bank to draw your bank statements. It then takes your debits and your credits, your income and your expenses, and it calculates your surplus to determine your loan affordability amount.
What's the cost of using My Bond Fitness?
100% free. There's no charge at all.
Now, you also mentioned earlier that the bond originator service does not cost the buyer a cent.
Yes.
Who pays for this service? Because there's got to be a catch somewhere.
The bank with which the bond is taken up will pay the bond originator a commission on registration of the bond.
So how do people get hold of My Bond Fitness?
Go to the website www.mybondfitness.co.za. Go in there, register, log in, And that even has a video that shows you the whole process that you can look at first to see how it will work.
Any last piece of advice that you want to share with home buyers with regard to the home application process?
Know your buying power. You know, it just takes away so much uncertainty. It saves you a lot of time and disappointment if you know what you can afford to buy before the time. Also, look after your credit profile. Your rating affects so many things. It affects your scoring, affects what interest rate you get at the end of the day. It affects what percentage bond you could get. You know, the difference between getting a 100% bond or an 80 or 90% bond. And lastly, yes, make use of a bond originator. It's a free service.
You might as well use it.
Might as well use it.
Fantastic. Chantal, lovely chatting to you.
Likewise.
Thank you.